What I'm about to reveal will completely destroy how you see the Summer I Turned Pretty Prime Video series forever. Behind those perfect Belly and Conrad moments from the Amazon Prime show, those Jenny Han interviews, and every Summer I Turned Pretty cast interview you've watched, there's been a political war so explosive that co-stars literally can't stand being in the same room together. We're talking about social media scandals that sparked international outrage, wedding snubs that shocked Hollywood, and Prime Video having to issue death threat warnings about fan harassment. The Summer I Turned Pretty Season 2 might have given us closure, but this behind-the-scenes controversy makes the Conrad versus Jeremiah love triangle look like kindergarten drama. Lola Tung's awkward interview moments, the Summer I Turned Pretty Season 1 cast chemistry everyone praised, and those Summer I Turned Pretty full episode behind-the-scenes clips you loved just got a whole lot more complicated. If you want the complete tea on how politics absolutely obliterated one of TV's hottest young casts, smash that subscribe button because apparently I need more subscribers to fund my detective work into Beach House betrayals. Trust me, this rabbit hole goes deeper than Belly's complicated feelings for both Fisher brothers. And honestly, reality is way more dramatic than anything in the Summer I Turned Pretty recap videos you've been watching. When The Summer I Turned Pretty premiered on Amazon Prime in June 2022, nobody predicted it would become more than just another teen romance adaptation. Based on Jenny Han's beloved trilogy, this wasn't just entertainment. It became a cultural phenomenon that completely took over social media every summer. The series didn't just gain viewers, it created literal armies of devoted fans who lived and breathed every single moment of Belly's journey between the Fisher brothers. The intensity surrounding this Prime Video show was unlike anything we'd witnessed since the Twilight craze. Team Conrad versus Team Jeremiah wars raged across every platform, with fans obsessively analyzing every glance between Lola Tung and Christopher Briney, dissecting every interaction between Lola and Gavin Casalegno, and turning innocent Summer I Turned Pretty interview moments into evidence for their shipping theories. But here's where everything got seriously twisted. The obsession wasn't just about the fictional love triangle anymore. Fans became completely fixated on the real-life relationships between the actors themselves. Lola Tung, Christopher Briney, and Gavin Casalegno weren't just playing characters. They became the faces of one of the biggest teen drama sensations in streaming history. The show's success was absolutely astronomical. Season 1 shattered viewing records for Amazon Prime Video, and by the time Season 2 dropped, these actors couldn't walk anywhere without being mobbed by screaming fans. Social media followers exploded into the millions overnight. Magazine covers, lucrative brand partnerships, award nominations. This was the kind of overnight success that launches careers and changes lives forever. But with that level of fame comes pressure that most people can't even comprehend. And apparently, it also exposed some seriously uncomfortable truths about who these people really are when those cameras stop rolling.
The first major warning sign that something was catastrophically wrong came from an absolutely unprecedented move by Amazon Prime themselves. The streaming giant felt compelled to issue a public warning to fans about their behavior, essentially stating that harassment, hate speech, and bullying would result in immediate bans. They implemented a zero-tolerance policy that shocked the entertainment industry. Think about that for a second. When has a major streaming platform ever had to basically threaten to ban viewers for how they discuss a teen romance show? This wasn't normal fan enthusiasm they were dealing with. This was something much darker and more dangerous. Industry reports revealed that Gavin Casalegno, who plays Jeremiah Fisher, had received death threats from fans, while other cast members faced intense harassment campaigns. Behind-the-scenes sources started sharing disturbing details about why Amazon felt the need to step in so aggressively. People close to the production revealed that the cast had been receiving an unusual amount of targeted harassment, but not from random internet trolls. The harassment was coming from within different factions of their own fan base, and it was getting intensely personal. Fans had started connecting dots between the actors' real-life political views and their on-screen chemistry, and the results were absolutely explosive.
The moment that really exposed just how fractured this cast had become should have been a celebration. Gavin Casalegno got married during the break between seasons, which should have been a joyous occasion shared with his TV family. Instead, it became the smoking gun that proved these actors couldn't tolerate each other. Not a single cast member attended the wedding. Not Christopher Briney, not Lola Tung, not Sean Kaufman, who plays Steven, not even Jenny Han, the creator and executive producer of the entire show. Now, actors missing a coworker's wedding isn't automatically scandalous. People have scheduling conflicts, other commitments, personal reasons for declining invitations. But when literally every single person from your work family skips your wedding, and then fans start posting side-by-side comparisons with other TV show casts who treat each other like actual family, it starts painting a very different picture.
The internet detectives went absolutely wild. They pulled up photos from other young adult show weddings where entire casts showed up to support each other. The Outer Banks cast, Stranger Things actors, even reality TV stars typically rally around their co-stars' major life events. But the Summer I Turned Pretty cast? Complete radio silence. No Instagram stories congratulating the couple, no behind-the-scenes photos, no acknowledgement that this massive milestone in their colleague's life had even happened. It was like Gavin's wedding existed in a parallel universe that none of his co-stars inhabited. The contrast became even more stark when fans compared it to how these same actors interact with other people in their lives. They'll post about random crew members, share stories about meeting fans, celebrate each other's professional achievements. But a wedding? Absolute crickets.
All right, we're about to dive into the absolute messiest part of this whole situation. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, now's your chance, because this drama is honestly more addictive than the actual show. Seriously, subscribe, and let's get into the political controversy that split this cast right down the middle like a badly written breakup scene. The reason for all this tension finally started making sense when fans dug deeper into Gavin Casalegno's social media activity. What they discovered was a pattern of behavior that directly contradicted the values of a show created by a woman, starring a strong female protagonist, and beloved by a predominantly young, progressive fan base. The controversy exploded when eagle-eyed fans discovered that Gavin had liked a post reading, "When you find out she is unvaxxed, not a feminist, loves the Lord, and aspires to be a wife, mother, and a homemaker, you will never regret it."
This wasn't just some random, this was posted by an account promoting traditional gender roles to fans of a show literally about female empowerment and a girl choosing her own path. But that was just the tip of the iceberg. Deeper investigation revealed that Gavin was following and engaging with some seriously controversial figures and content. Fans discovered he had liked tweets by Dean Cain, a conservative media personality known for his stances against transgender rights, support for Kyle Rittenhouse, and alignment with Republican talking points, including opposition to the Black Lives Matter movement. The actor was also found liking Jordan Peterson videos containing transphobic remarks and interacting with pro-Israel posts during highly divisive moments.
The pattern became impossible to ignore when fans discovered more problematic content. Anti-vaccination material promoting dangerous health misinformation, content that many found tone-deaf given current social justice movements. Each discovery felt like another confirmation that Gavin's personal beliefs were fundamentally at odds with everything the Summer I Turned Pretty supposedly represented. When you contrast this with his co-star's social media presence, the divide becomes even more obvious. Christopher Briney's Instagram shows support for progressive causes, environmental activism, and social justice issues. Lola Tung shares content supporting women's rights and equality movements. Their activity aligns with typical Gen Z liberal values. And then there was Gavin, apparently supporting figures and ideas that were completely opposed to his co-stars' public positions.
When the backlash started gaining serious momentum, Gavin attempted damage control. He claimed that someone else had access to his account and was liking posts without his knowledge. He said he didn't even have Instagram on his phone most days and thanked fans for bringing it to his attention. But the explanation fell completely flat for several reasons that even his most devoted fans couldn't ignore. First, the pattern of activity was too consistent and too specific to his apparent interests. This wasn't someone randomly engaging with cat videos and political content. It was a carefully curated selection of posts that all aligned with a particular worldview. Second, this wasn't just one or two random likes that could be explained as mistakes. This was an extensive history of engaging with controversial content over a significant period. And third, his explanation only came after he got caught, not as a proactive clarification.
The situation became exponentially more complicated when you consider the workplace dynamics this created. Industry insiders started sharing details about how this political divide was affecting the atmosphere on set. Sources revealed that the tension wasn't just about having different political opinions. Plenty of actors worked together successfully despite disagreeing on politics. This was about fundamental differences in values that made it impossible for the cast to connect on any personal level. When you're spending months filming together, living in close quarters, sharing intimate scenes, and expected to create believable chemistry on screen, having such vastly different worldviews creates insurmountable problems. It's one thing to disagree about tax policy, but when one person's social media activity suggests they don't believe in the fundamental humanity and rights of groups that their co-stars belong to or support, that creates an impossible working environment.
The professional consequences started becoming apparent during what should have been routine promotional activities. The cast interviews that everyone used to praise for their natural chemistry suddenly became exercises in careful choreography and awkward silences. During one particularly telling lie detector interview, when Lola Tung was asked if she thought she and Gavin would have been friends in high school, her response was diplomatically brutal and went viral for all the wrong reasons. Cast members' entire postures would change when discussing Gavin, the way they looked everywhere except at him during group interviews, how they chose their words so carefully that it was obvious they were trying not to say what they really felt, the forced smiles that never reached their eyes. Everything about these moments screamed polite tolerance rather than genuine friendship. Behind-the-scenes sources shared more details about how these tensions played out during filming. The cast had naturally split into different social groups during their downtime. Christopher, Sean, and Lola would often hang out together, going to dinners, exploring filming locations, and genuinely enjoying each other's company. They'd post Instagram stories from their adventures, share inside jokes in interviews, and clearly had developed real friendships beyond their professional obligations. Gavin, meanwhile, was more likely to keep to himself or spend time with crew members and local people he'd met. While there's nothing inherently wrong with being more private, the stark contrast with how the other cast members bonded became increasingly obvious as the series progressed. Jenny Han found herself in an absolutely impossible position. She had built her career on writing empowering stories for young women, and her show had become a symbol of female agency and choice. Having one of her lead actors associated with content that directly contradicted these values created a public relations nightmare that no amount of careful messaging could resolve.
The situation became even more complex when you consider that Jenny Han is also Asian American, and some of the content Gavin engaged with included posts critical of diversity initiatives in entertainment. For a creator who had fought to get authentic representation on screen, having one of her stars seemingly oppose those very values must have been personally devastating. The fan reaction to all this drama was intense and completely fractured the Summer I Turned Pretty community. Social media became a battlefield where different factions argued about everything from the actor's right to personal opinions to whether their beliefs should affect how people view their characters.
TikTok was flooded with videos analyzing every interaction, every interview moment, every social media post for additional evidence of cast tension. Some creators made hour-long deep dives into body language analysis. Others created side-by-side comparisons of how these actors treated each other versus how other TV casts interact. The controversy generated millions of views across thousands of videos, with fans taking sides based on their own political beliefs and what they could tolerate from actors they'd grown to love. The professional fallout started becoming visible as the actors began booking their next projects. Christopher Briney landed significant roles and had several high-profile opportunities lined up. Lola Tung was being courted for major studio projects and lucrative brand partnerships. But Gavin's post-summer I Turned Pretty opportunities seemed notably fewer and less prominent. Industry experts weren't surprised by this development. Hollywood, especially the young adult entertainment sector, tends to be quite liberal and social justice oriented. When an actor becomes associated with controversial political views, especially ones that could alienate key demographics, it can significantly impact their career trajectory in ways that extend far beyond any individual project.
As filming wrapped on the final season, the professional requirements meant the cast had to continue promoting the show together despite their obvious personal differences. But every joint appearance became an exercise in careful choreography. Publicists worked overtime to manage group interviews, ensuring that potentially explosive topics were avoided and that interactions remained superficially pleasant. The most telling moment came during the final press conference, when a reporter asked about their favorite memories from filming together over the 3 seasons. This question should have been easy for a close-knit cast to answer with warmth and specific anecdotes about bonding experiences. Instead, there were long, uncomfortable pauses, generic responses about beautiful filming locations and working with talented people, and a general sense that everyone was choosing their words extremely carefully to avoid revealing the true state of their relationships. What makes this entire situation so fascinating is how it perfectly mirrors the central themes of the show itself. The Summer I Turned Pretty is fundamentally about growing up, discovering who you are, and learning that sometimes people change in ways that make relationships impossible to maintain. The fact that the real-life cast experienced their own version of this coming-of-age disillusionment adds an almost supernatural layer to the whole drama. Just like how Belly had to choose between Conrad and Jeremiah based on their fundamental values and how they treated her, fans found themselves having to choose sides based on their own values and what they could tolerate from the actors they'd supported. The parallel between the fictional love triangle and the real-life political divide was almost too perfect to be coincidental. The legacy of this controversy will likely outlast the show itself. Future casting directors will remember how political differences can completely torpedo a production's promotional efforts and create ongoing headaches for studios. Young actors will learn about the importance of social media awareness and how personal beliefs can impact not just their own careers, but the success of entire projects they're involved in. And fans will forever associate The Summer I Turned Pretty not just with its romantic storylines and beautiful beach settings, but with the real-life drama that proved sometimes the most interesting conflicts happen when cameras stop rolling and actors have to be themselves. The way this all unfolded gives us a fascinating glimpse into how personal beliefs, professional obligations, and fan expectations can create the perfect storm for Hollywood drama that rivals any scripted storyline. The Summer I Turned Pretty gave us not one, but 2 love triangles. The fictional one between Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah, and the very real one between progressive values, conservative beliefs, and career success in modern Hollywood. If you made it through this absolute mess of a situation, you definitely need to subscribe because honestly, after researching all this drama, I might need a vacation from reality TV levels of chaos. But hey, at least we got one incredible story out of it.
Let me know in the comments which side of this controversy you fall on and whether you think personal politics should affect how we view our favorite actors. The summer may have ended, but this drama is definitely going to keep the internet talking for years to come.